There is a quiet tension in the way attraction works between men and women. Most people assume it is about looks, money, or simple charm, but human psychology is far more complicated. When a younger man enters a room, his energy may get attention for a moment, yet it often fades as quickly as it appeared. But when an older man walks in, something different happens. Women do not just look at him, they sense him. There is an invisible weight behind his presence that younger men rarely carry, and that weight pulls attention in ways that are hard to ignore. This is not about wrinkles or age. It is about what years of experience create inside a man's mind. Emotional control, a deeper sense of self, and the ability to read situations with accuracy create an aura that psychology has long linked with attraction. For many women, these signals represent safety, maturity, and power, qualities that younger men struggle to project consistently. If you have ever wondered why so many women admit feeling drawn toward older men, you are about to learn the psychological reasons behind it. And once you see them, you will never forget them. Before we dive in, make sure you stay with me until the very end, because each reason builds on the last, and by the final chapter, you will understand the hidden rules of attraction that most people never notice. When a woman meets a man, the first thing she notices is not always his looks or his age, but the energy that surrounds him. Stability is one of the strongest signals that older men naturally project, and it carries for more weight than raw youth ever can. Stability does not mean being boring or predictable, it means having control over emotions, over choices, and over the direction of life. When a younger man reacts quickly to every small trigger, his behavior shows unpredictability. He may get angry easily, lose patience, or shift his interests without warning. An older man, shaped by years of mistakes and lessons, usually carries a calmer presence. That calmness makes women feel safer because they know he will not collapse under pressure. Human psychology has always tied attraction to survival. From an evolutionary point of view, women have looked for men who can create safety, not just excitement. Safety does not mean locking someone away, it means being reliable when life becomes difficult. A younger man may have energy, but energy without control can feel dangerous. An older man has usually faced setbacks, financial struggles, heartbreak, health scares, and survived them. That survival gives him an invisible authority. It signals that he is less likely to fall apart when tested, and that signal is deeply attractive. There is also something powerful about emotional control. When a man does not let anger or insecurity control him, he becomes harder to manipulate. Women, often aware of emotional games in relationships, sense this difference. An older man who can listen without instantly reacting, who can handle conflict without exploding, appears much more dependable than a younger man still learning self-control. Even in silence, he carries weight, because he is not rushed by insecurity. That steady presence is often more magnetic than loud displays of confidence. This stability extends beyond emotions into lifestyle. An older man often knows what he wants, where he is going, and what he will not tolerate. Women find this grounding because it removes confusion. With a younger man, there may be constant shifts in goals, jobs, or direction, which can make a woman feel like she is investing in something uncertain. But when a man's life is structured and under control, it makes her feel that stepping into his world will not lead her into chaos. This is not about material wealth alone, but about discipline and consistency, qualities that are rare in youth but sharpen with age. Even when attraction is unspoken, these signals shape how women respond. The way a man sits, the way he handles a delay, the way he speaks under stress, these reveal how much control he has over himself. For women, that control is more powerful than reckless energy. And it is this difference that makes many choose older men over younger ones. Confidence is often mistaken for loudness or charm, but true confidence is something far quieter. Women can sense it in the way a man walks into a room without needing to prove himself. Younger men often try to display confidence through bravado, exaggerated humor, or constant attempts to impress. Older men, however, carry a type of assurance that does not need to be spoken. This comes from years of failure, survival, and experience. They know who they are, and more importantly, they know who they are not. That certainty becomes magnetic, because it allows women to relax around them rather than feel like they are caught in someone else's performance. Confidence at this level does not depend on approval. A younger man may shape his behavior around how he is seen, chasing validation, and fearing rejection. But an older man has usually faced enough rejection to stop being afraid of it. He no longer begs to be chosen. He understands that attraction is not about convincing someone, but about connecting with the right person. This lack of desperation changes everything. It changes how he speaks, how he makes eye contact, and how he holds himself in silence. Women recognize this difference quickly because desperation has a smell, and it always weakens attraction. Psychology shows that people mirror the emotional states of those around them. When a man is insecure, he creates insecurity in others. When he is stable and confident, he creates comfort. Women prefer being around men who allow them to feel more secure rather than more doubtful. An older man's quiet confidence does exactly that. Instead of trying to outshine everyone in the room, he focuses on the person in front of him. That presence creates depth, and depth creates attraction. There is also a darker side to confidence that women subconsciously notice. A man who is deeply confident is harder to manipulate. Younger men, still eager to please, can be pulled in many directions by flattery, jealousy, or games. But an older man who knows his worth is less likely to bend under pressure. That resistance is strangely alluring because it forces respect. He is not easily controlled, and in the psychology of attraction, resistance often increases value. What is harder to move seems stronger, and what is stronger feels safer. Consider how women often describe attraction. They rarely say, "I liked him because he was trying so hard." They say, "There was something about the way he carried himself. He just seemed sure." That something is not a trick or a line, it is a result of years lived, lessons learned, and battles endured. It is confidence rooted in reality, not in performance. And while youth may bring charm, age often brings the kind of confidence that never needs to be performed. Stability is one of the most powerful forces in attraction, and it becomes even more important as people age. Women, especially as they grow older, begin to value consistency over chaos. They have likely already experienced relationships filled with unpredictability, emotional games, and immaturity. When they meet an older man who has learned how to stay grounded, it feels like a relief. Stability is not only about money or career, although those matter. It is about emotional steadiness, the ability to handle problems without collapsing, and the maturity to choose peace over drama. Younger men often mistake intensity for love, but older men understand that real connection is built on trust, not constant fireworks. This stability shows up in small ways. An older man does not usually vanish without explanation. He is less likely to play childish games such as ignoring calls or creating jealousy to test loyalty. Instead, he communicates more directly, because he has learned through experience that games destroy trust. A woman dating an older man often feels more secure, because she is not left questioning where she stands. That security allows her to relax and open herself more fully, which is one of the main reasons older men are attractive. From a psychological perspective, human beings are wired to avoid uncertainty. Uncertainty increases stress hormones, and the brain begins to associate that stress with the person causing it. Younger men often unknowingly create this stress by being inconsistent, unpredictable, or unreliable. Older men, however, can reduce that stress by being more stable. This makes them not only more attractive but also healthier partners to be around. When a woman feels calmer in the presence of a man, she naturally wants to spend more time with him. Financial stability also plays a role. While many try to frame this as gold digging, it is more about survival instincts. Stability in resources has always been a factor in human attraction because it signals the ability to provide safety. An older man who has built a career or at least reached a stage of financial steadiness signals responsibility and reliability. This does not mean women are shallow, it means they respond to an ancient biological drive that values protection and security. A younger man who is still figuring himself out may be exciting for short-term fun, but long-term stability often wins when women think about their future. There is another side to stability that is rarely discussed. Older men have usually faced personal storms, financial struggles, health scares, betrayals, or deep failures. Having survived those storms, they no longer panic when small problems appear. This calm under pressure is deeply attractive, because it makes women feel they are in safe hands. When a man does not overreact, it gives her space to breathe. When he shows that he can carry weight without falling apart, it signals strength beyond physical appearance. Stability becomes not just about what he has but about who he has become. Wisdom is another reason many women lean toward older men, and it is not simply about knowing more facts. Wisdom comes from lived experience, from the scars of mistakes and the lessons learned along the way. When a man reaches a certain age, he carries with him a deeper understanding of life, relationships, and human nature. This makes him more patient, more thoughtful, and often more understanding of what a woman truly needs beyond surface attraction. Younger men may still be caught up in proving themselves, chasing ego battles, or trying to impress with material things. Older men, however, often know that true connection is built on listening, empathy, and respect. That shift in perspective creates an energy women find grounding and magnetic. One of the most powerful parts of wisdom is emotional regulation. A younger man may lash out when upset, or withdraw when insecure. An older man who has walked through heartbreaks, conflicts, and disappointments often learns how to respond instead of react. He knows that words spoken in anger can damage trust, and he chooses patience over impulse. For a woman, being with a man who does not turn every disagreement into a battlefield can feel like a gift. It shows maturity, and it creates space for the relationship to grow without constant emotional storms. Wisdom also brings clarity about priorities. Older men are less likely to waste time on shallow games. They know what matters most: loyalty, respect, shared values, and peace. Because they have lived through years of chasing temporary highs and seen how empty those can be, they are more focused on building something meaningful. A woman who is tired of empty promises and childish behavior naturally feels drawn to a man who knows what he wants and values quality over quantity. That clarity can be deeply attractive because it takes away confusion and uncertainty. Another side of wisdom is the ability to mentor and guide without controlling. Women often admire men who can offer perspective when life feels overwhelming. It is not about preaching or dominating but about sharing lessons learned through lived experience. A younger man might say, "Just get over it," while an older man may gently explain, "I went through something similar, and here is what helped me." That difference in tone is powerful, because it makes a woman feel seen and understood. It makes her feel she is with someone who can hold her struggles without dismissing them. There is also a darker psychological angle to wisdom. When a man knows himself deeply, he no longer chases approval desperately. That independence creates an aura of mystery and strength. Women often find this attractive because it shows he is not needy. Younger men may cling too tightly or seek validation, but older men usually carry themselves with a quiet confidence that says, "I know who I am." That energy is magnetic because it shows strength without arrogance. It shows wisdom in action, and women can feel it.